Hello and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL. You can't see it because I look pretty decent on camera, and I hate this beard. By the way, it's I could tug on it. If I could tug on my beard, it's freaking too long. As I say, I got the best beard in the business here, Corkenstein, joining us on a Tuesday. No, normally he does not here. He's on Fridays. We asked him to come in because we have a great topic that I really want to get into. And it's the 5 Plus and Xbox innovations that they have done for the industry that go unbelievably overlooked. Like, honestly, Xbox has carried the gaming platform for decades now, going all the way back to like the Xbox One with backwards compatibility and moving it forward with Xbox Game Pass and Play Anywhere and dual entitlements. There is so much that they have done that they don't get credit for. And that's going to be a fun topic on the back end of the show. To open the show, I'm doing an actual AMA, Ask Me Anything, about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. The video went out. Obviously, I did make a small boo-boo, which has been fixed. I said it was coming out for the Xbox One. I thought I cut that out, and I didn't. But I did go into the actual video. So if you listen to it now, it's been removed. It's been fixed. It's flawless. Again, I did it in the video. I've done it publicly. I want to say it again live on the air. I got to thank Bethesda and Machine Games for the opportunity. This is a major thing that happened for the channel. We are 15, and I'm not being facetious, ladies and gentlemen. When I say the channel is small, it's 15K, yes, but it's still small compared to some of the other people that I was in the room with. Most everyone there had 50,000 subscribers or more. I was probably the smallest channel there. And to be invited to something that spectacular, it's honestly, it's humbling beyond I have the words to put out there. Again, the video is closing in on 1,000 views, which is a freaking amazing, because when you do these reviews or these previews, you don't get a lot of traction. Again, the channel is small, but 1,000 people enjoyed it. And again, there were a couple of really ugly comments in there, and I'm not going to repeat what they said. They've been blocked officially. It's fine. But I worked super hard. Now, again, that video, not counting the intros, is about 7 minutes and 38 seconds. It took me nearly 7 hours to do that video yesterday. Almost the entire day I spent doing the video. It was, again, I put a lot of love, a lot of effort into it, a lot of honesty. Hopefully you guys and gals get a chance to do a couple of things. One, watch the video from start to finish. I'd greatly appreciate it. Share it on social media if you feel inclined to do so. And of course, let others, again, put it out there. It's also up on Kay Asante's thegamingcircle.com, because we share content. He likes to have people, do articles. I've written 3 so far, and I put the video. And there is the script that I wrote is there if you want to read it as well. But let's get into the introductions. Corkenstein, normally not here. Welcome to the program, sir. I can't wait to hear your hot take, not only on the big Call of Duty numbers that are starting to fly out, and we got Matt Piscatella to thank for that. We got a preview of what to expect because they're big. And, of course, we're talking Indiana Jones and the innovations of Xbox. How you doing, brother? Welcome.
Doing good. Thanks for having me on this Tuesday. Yeah, like you said, normally I'm on Fridays, but like I said, there's so much great topics here. Thanks for the invite, and your great job on the video, Boom. It's great.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
I've watched it. It's solid. It's got me hyped for indie.
You know what? I'm not going to lie. I was nervous to the point where I didn't sleep as well as I normally do, because it's a lot of pressure to get this right. Remember, they flew me out there, and I got to make sure that I do the video. And again, is it perfect? No. Is it from the heart? 100%. There's no fluff. I didn't have any of the, the licensed music. I didn't want any problems. It's just, I didn't do any flashy intros because I didn't want to take away from what you're there to do. And that's look at the game, see the game for those 7 minutes and 38 seconds. Hopefully you find folks enjoyed it. But Jamie Moran, who's always seems to be hunted by the escapees of the Arkham Asylum. How you feeling, brother? And hopefully you got them off your trail.
Hey, man, I'm still sick, but The show must go on. I'm good. Actually. It's actually been a good week. Good week of gaming news. Good week of gaming, and looking forward to checking out your video, Boom, after this is finished. Because I cannot wait for Indiana Jones. I'm a huge fan of the first 3 films.
Yes.
The last 2, not so much.
Not too much. Yeah.
The original 3. But yeah, let's get into the gaming.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, we're welcoming back a gamer, an industry insider to some extent, someone that I like to talk to on a regular basis via DM. We're going to get more personal, if you will, and talk on the phone to get some behind the scenes stuff. I love coffee, brother. It is great to have you here. How the heck are you feeling? Welcome back.
I'm actually happy to be here, but also I'm actually happy to not be sick like everyone else is right now.
Yeah.
So there's that. I mean, I feel like this thing is heading through the airwaves at this point in time. Never mind in the air normally. Yeah. So yeah, as far as being back, yeah, it's definitely a pleasure to be here again. Let's try not to break any NDAs today, boys. You know what
Certainly
I mean?
not. Yes.
And yeah, let's get into the topics of the show.
Yeah, well, great. Again, no NDAs being broken here. And again, honestly, folks, I was nervous as F with the video. Like I watched it probably around 40 times, not on YouTube when I'm making the video, and I still missed one little boo-boo. So even when you're in it, sometimes you just miss the things that are just so obvious. Thanks to Kay Asante, who swooped in like the superhero he is and was like, hey, Boom, we could fix this. Go here, snip it here. And the way that we did it, you would never know I even mentioned Xbox One, which again, I read somewhere and I thought I took that out and I didn't, but it's not in the video now. So again, if you go watch it, it's simply flawless. Like I don't have skills like that, folks. And somehow it sounds perfect. So hopefully, again, you enjoy the video. Again, a thank you to all of the really, really nice comments for the video that everyone has left on YouTube. We do greatly appreciate it. So, gentlemen, I want to kind of do this, open the floor to the panel. And I'll start first with Korkenstein. Any specific questions that you have about Indiana Jones? Because like I said, what you saw in the video is what I can speak about. And I might be able to kind of even bend it a little bit more in regards to adding some additional context that wasn't in the video. First of all, I just want to tell everyone that this is something special. And I'm not saying it because I'm an Xbot. I'm saying it because I'm an Indiana Jones fan. Like I said in the video, it does take place between the first Indiana Jones and the third Indiana Jones. The first one released in 1981. The third one released with his pops, which is my actually favorite. That's actually my favorite Indiana Jones, released in 1989. And it takes place in between these two films. As you saw from the video, the graphics on display are using the id Tech that powers Doom and powers Castle Wolfenstein. It is the latest version of it. It's stunning to look at. And mind you, you folks are seeing it compression after compression after compression on YouTube. When you are playing it in front of a giant screen like I was, it is like I took so long in some areas that I knew I was spending too much time because I was looking for everything. And like I said in the video, I'm a look everywhere, find everything gamer. That's how I enjoy playing these games. Infinite Umbra, which by the way is not here, he's getting his tooth fixed, which is why he's been out the last couple of weeks. He's had a miserable go at it. He hasn't even done his own show, the poor guy, but thankfully he's getting the situation repaired, so to speak, today. And he'll be back not only doing his channel this week, but he'll be back here next week. Korkenstein, any specific questions that you might have for me regarding Indiana Jones?
Yeah, so as a fellow Indiana Jones fan, it looks like Indiana Jones, but I'm not sure if this is something you can answer per se, but how does it feel while you're immersed in the world? Is it that cinematic feel that Indiana Jones kind of brings while you're playing it?
You know what? I can't answer that. So
Okay.
I'll say this. Everything that an Indiana Jones fan appreciates about the films, there are a lot of things that jump off the page for this particular game. Presentation, immediately, especially when you're in his office. Like you see the relics on the shelves. When you're walking around the museum, you see the attention to detail, even in the shelving. Like if you look specifically when he's talking after the initial break-in with his glass all over the place, and that's in the preview that I put out there. If you look into the actual glass cabinet, you see the attention to detail where the actual shelving hook holes would be. Like there's so much detail in any one scene. It's incredible. Now, getting back to the Indiana Jones look and feel, Troy Baker basically has done, I think, his best work he's ever done in the business. Because if you don't know any better, you would think that this is Harrison Ford. I don't understand how he was able to capture that raspy Harrison Ford-esque voice. The quips in between the conversations that he has when he's beating up on a Nazi are freaking hilarious. Obviously, the attention to detail for the whip and the hat and the all of his tools of the trade, his leather jacket, unbelievably on display. When you compare the ambiance and the music and the graphics, and it's just on the screen at once, it does feel like you are actually playing a new film. It is stunning. I don't know if that answers your question or not, but it is absolutely everything an Indiana Jones fan would want. There is a cinematic feel to it. It feels like a film.
No, 100%. That definitely is something that I was definitely wondering about, because that's for me the biggest thing is like, it's great that you're making an indie game, but it has to feel like the movie, or else you're just missing the mark completely. It can have some of the best gameplay ever, but if you're going to use that licensed IP, it needs to be indie, and that was my biggest concern with it. So I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah, they've nailed it. They really have. And like I said in my video, I did make a comparisons to Hellblade 2, and I'm here to tell you that's not a fluff piece. It is as stunning to look at in every scene, the same way you can do with Senyo. And now the only thing I don't know, because it wasn't available for me to try, is if there's going to be a photo mode available. I honestly, that's a question I can't answer because I don't have the answer for it. But I hopefully they do, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to take pictures of some of the locations. Now, you can take pictures yourself in the game, but I don't know if you can actually take pictures that you can then post online of your actual gameplay. I don't know. Maybe that's something that they will add. Again, it wasn't available for me to try out, so I can't answer the question. But Jamie Moran, you got a chance to, you didn't get a chance to watch the video, but you saw some of the previews already. Obviously there's been video of it. We saw the trailer during the June event. Any specific thing you want to ask about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle?
Yeah, so in previous Wolfenstein games, the levels were very much separate from each other, but each level had multiple routes to get from point A to point B.
Yes.
I was wondering whether Indiana Jones has a similar game style and game design.
Dude, I'm glad you asked that question. That is a phenomenal question. And the answer is freaking absolutely. There are so many ways to tackle a level. If you want to go loud, you're probably going to get wrecked. The game is base. Is it a Splinter Cell stealth game? No. Is stealth a major part of the game? 100%. You obviously have use of his tools, meaning his whip. And there are many ways to get into a location, whether it be, climbing up a wall or swinging across, a ledge. This game lets you be Indiana Jones. You can play the game however you see fit. You want to use the whip and beat the hell out of everybody and bring them in and fisticuff them, you can. But the way that you tackle it is entirely up to you. Like, for instance, the Cairo section It's very large. There are a lot of big points of contention in there, and how you decide to get around that the Nazis that are there, and they're in the video, you can see them, is great. How you kill off the Nazis? Well, that could, obviously you can use anything you find in the environment. You can use shovels, hammers, wrenches, bottles, 2x4s. There was a pair of Nazis working on the power for something that was, again, I'm not going to get into the particulars, and I electrocuted both of them because they were sitting in the puddle. So I turned on the switch and they both died. It was freaking hilarious. So yeah, the way that you tackle each level is entirely up to the player. I think that is what makes this a real Indiana Jones adventure, because I don't think anyone's going to have the same experience, which I think is awesome. It's going to be your story and done the way you tell that story, and how you get there entirely different. Go loud and have Nazis chasing you all over the place, or go silently and knock everybody out and hide the bodies, which you can do, which is awesome. Anything else, Jamie?
Yeah, so when it comes to stealth, I think Call of Duty Black Ops 6 does the stealth levels really good. You can go full action or full stealth.
Yeah.
Does Indiana Jones do the same thing when it comes to like clearing out outposts and areas?
Well, I only had 2 hours with it. One of the instances I was in the darkened streets of Rome. There are tremendous amounts of guards around the area, sometimes as many as 3. You can distract them with broken bottles. Like if you throw a bottle, someone go, "Oh, what's that?" And they walk away, and then the one guy's by himself. You knock him out, you hide the body. Now, if you just start knocking people out and you leave the bodies all over the place, you're gonna set off the alarms, and people are gonna be now looking for you.
Nice.
The best way to do it is to get them one at a time. There are dogs, like they have German shepherds. They have patrols, and the dog will attack you if if you start fighting with the guard. But you can snap him, you can scare him and snap him away with the whip, and he goes running, which is great. Again, one of the biggest questions I think a lot of people are going to have is the gunplay. When the Nazis or the other NPCs drop their guns, you can pick it up and use it. There are, single shot bolt action. There's, the standard-esque machine gun that with the side loader that the Nazis carry. You can use all of that. The minute you fire a shot, though, you're gonna set off alarms. So again, however you decide to play is how you decide to play. But again, stealth is done masterfully, in my opinion. And again, if they don't get it, like for instance, you can roll up on somebody, they can see you can get into a fist fight, and if you knock them out, they don't set off the alarm. If you lose sight of them and they go running, then they're going to set off an alarm, and then you're in a bit of a pickle. But yeah, stealth plays a huge part of it. Now, again, how you decide to play this game is entirely up to you. I'm going to be doing the stealth route. I do like the stealth type of gaming anyway. But I love coffee. Any questions you have for me regarding Indiana Jones and the Great Circle?
Yeah, so I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, since I don't want the podcast to be basically all of us agreeing with one another for the next 90 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
So I got some questions to kind of just give you like multi-parted questions to see where your head's at with it. So I want to know what you think this game is going to be like from a kind of a rating scale. I know you only played 2 hours, but from the non-indie fans and fans of run and gun shooters, do you think that this game will possibly give them a little bit of that to satiate that appetite? Or do you think this is more based on, because I know the character Indy is not a run and gun shooting type of character. He's more of like a behind the shadows, stealthy. I'm going to be and coy and honestly lucky at times. Do you think that this game, what do you think it will be like for those individuals who are not graybeards like ourselves and who are not really familiar with the franchise of Indiana Jones? And, from a shooter perspective, what does it offer them?
Well, that's a great point. I made this. That's a great question. So I'll answer it as honestly as I did in the video. I want this to be clear. This is not a Castle Wolfenstein or Call of Duty first-person shooter. It is not that. It is an adventure game that uses third person to tell its story. There's gunplay, sure. There are consequences for that gunplay if you decide to use it. There are instances where you have to use it. There's instances where you can find ways around to not use it. But for the quote unquote younger crowd, I don't necessarily know if this is going to hit for those gamers. I'm being completely honest here. I think that if you have an affiliation to Indiana Jones, you're going to love this game. It is basically the next film or a film in the series that you're playing. That's basically what it is. As a Fortnite player, as a Call of Duty or Apex Legends player, I don't necessarily know. Now, granted, I don't want to assume that they're not going to like it, but I think that this is definitely a game that's focused on the older crowd, simply because there is knowing who Indiana Jones is and understanding his humor and understanding the 1937, which is where this game takes place, is a major part of what makes this game, I think, going to be applicable to gaming. Is it going to be niche? Like, for instance, you would take a Souls game. It might be. It actually might be that, because again, I like slower paced games. I also like what you have in front of your screen. I haven't even played I think I'm like maybe 30 hours into Call of Duty, and I haven't even started the single player campaign. I just hit level 44 this morning in multiplayer. I'm gonna prestige by the weekend. Like, I can't get enough of this. I'm getting really good with it, and the guns, I love everything about it. But I'm also someone that will appreciate a slow, story-driven narrative. Now, I will say this. I don't necessarily know if this is going to be... Now, you talk about reviews. Man, I don't know. I just... This could... I put it this way. Even if this game was full-on third person, and it was a carbon copy of what Nathan Drake does in his adventures for PlayStation, I still believe that they would dump on this game. And I believe that the scores are going to reflect that. I really do. Like, I have lost so much faith in gaming. And a perfect example of that is the tweet I put out right before the show went live of PC Gamer. They basically were invited to the same event that I was and played the same amount of time. They said they played 3 hours. I don't know how that's possible. I only got 2 hours and some change. But they said they got 3 hours. Okay, good on them. And then it was a complete bore fest to them. I mean, I don't know if the guy was 21 years old who played the game and he just doesn't like games, or he doesn't like slow-paced games and he's a Fortnite player and maybe, he likes PUBG and this is just not for him. I don't know. Or they do it for like what they normally do, the gaming media, and that's for clicks, which is just disgusting.
Yeah. I guess when you say niche, like, the reason why I'm asking these questions is because, like, I know, like, I can use Hellblade 2 as a perfect example of this. Like, it's a game. So Hellblade 2 is a phenomenal game in the sense
it is.
If you're into cinematic experiences and
Yes.
high budget and like story driven content, it's a game for you. If you're looking for like a hack and slash God of War type game, it's not a game for you. So there's a niche. There's a niche there. We couldn't all understand. But like, I guess another question I have here is, at any moment in time, was there any kind of indication of there being a third person cover system available to you that could possibly indicate a third person mode being down the road in like a DLC format for the game?
No. The only third person instances that I was able to see is when you are climbing or scaling buildings. It does go into a third building. When you're using the whip to climb a wall, it goes into third person. When you're scaling the edge or walking on the edge of something, it goes into a third person, which looks freaking phenomenal. Will there eventually be a third person mode down the road? You know what? That's a great question. I do not have the answer for that. There are, again, it's certain instances where it pulls you out. I did not see, and again, this is an early build. This is not the final product, FYI. That there wasn't no type of cover system where if I went behind a wall, it would kind of pan back and they would show you. The game is played, I want to say, at least my playthrough 90+% in first person, because that's the way the story is being told. The art is being, painted, if you will. But yeah, again, you mentioned Hellblade 2, and I think if you're onto something here. I think that if you loved Hellblade 2 for what it was not a hack and slash, meaning it wasn't God of War. Well, this isn't Call of Duty, and this is not Castle Wolfenstein. The best one is Castle Wolfenstein, because Castle Wolfenstein has you carrying guns the size of the character and one in each hand, and you're just mowing down Nazis. That's not what this is. This is an action adventure game with a unbelievable tale that's being told, and the pace of that tale is basically what you do as a player. And you can go from point A to B to Z and be done with it. I don't have the amount of hours per se, how much it would take to beat the game. I don't know, because I didn't bother asking, and I don't think they were even taking those questions. But if you're a person like me, or like, for instance, Infinite Umbra, who likes to explore and look for everything, this is the game for you. If you are again, run and gun type of gamer, this is probably not going to be for you.
Yeah, because I mean, again, we saw what happened with Resident Evil Village and how they were able to implement the third-person mode for that game, even though it was predominantly first-person, built around that. I think it would actually be very in the bag for Microsoft and Bethesda to when this game inevitably does come to PlayStation, to release some sort of incentive or a third-person mode with the release of the PlayStation release, due to the fact that PlayStation gamers tend to lean on that third-person kind of atmosphere.
Great thought, man.
But I was just asking because usually with games like this, if you have a cover mode in place that you go into third person, that means that there are systems in play that can possibly cater to camera work for third person perspectives and what have you. That's why I was asking it. But obviously, it's all kind of hearsay at this moment in time because you only got 2 hours. Yeah, I mean, my main thing with the game that I am reading off of everything you're saying here, I think this is going to be a very niche fan, just a fan favorite type game for individuals who are fans of the series, and of course, fans of that kind of more slow paced, stealth, methodical type gameplay with great story. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm not expecting. I just looked down for a second, looked up, and the aesthetic was the same with Call of Duty, and I thought it was Indiana Jones for a second. I'm like, wait a second, this game just got real serious. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, listen, great questions from everybody. And again, I'd love to take questions from, of course, the chat, but we only have 90 minutes, and I only wanted to do the 30-minute blocks because we want to make sure that everyone's time is valued. And we do have 2 more topics to get into. Again, I'm still going to be talking about it. I'm allowed now to talk about it. I'm probably going to go into more specific details towards the end of the week. I just wanted the video out there. I'm very happy with the way the video was done. I didn't, again, want to put any kind of big flashy, double barrel gaming flash screens on there. I got my watermark on there to make sure that it's mine and that someone doesn't use it without my authority. But past that, I'm very happy with the way the video. Hopefully you are happy with the video, ladies and gentlemen, and that you are going to share it. And of course, hit the like button, because the more likes, the more views. It lets Bethesda know to maybe, just maybe, invite me to a Doom event. Oh, yes. I'm throwing it out there to the universe. I'm throwing it out there. Please invite me to the Doom shenanigans happening next year. I will definitely fly here, there, and anywhere at this point. But listen, gentlemen, let me just catch up on the super chats. There's been quite a few of them, and then we will get into topic number 2. Will Broke Boy Lewis drops a very generous $2 super chat. Says, okay, Cork and Boomer here. Who's gonna steal his points next? And shout out to Will the other day. I talked about, I think was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Us old men, man, we stayed up to almost 3 o'clock in the morning, getting down with some Call of Duty. Got a chance to play with a whole bunch of people from the community, which I'm going to do over the weekend again. Percolator 9000, big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Yes, we beat the Giants yesterday. And my brother, this is for you, Neo Mental. Merry Christmas. And Scrub Nurse, Chris 713, who's in the chat normally. I got a chance to play with a lot of people. We're going to open it up to play with a whole bunch of people. It was a freaking blast. I definitely, I gotta make time for the single player. I heard that it is the best one in years, and I definitely got to play it. Plus, it unlocks there that you can use for multiplayer. But I'm so close to prestiging. I just hit level 44. I got 11 levels to go, and I'm going to prestige for the first time for me as an old man since the Xbox 360 Modern Warfare 2. So it's been a minute, and I am addicted to this game like it's going out of style. But OG Frost drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, "Hi all, just wanted to say I loved the MRE episode, Korkenstein. Keep up the good work." Yeah, it was a great episode. If you missed it, just look at his face. His expression says it all, and those things usually taste terrible, and I was right once again. They're just awful. Julia, I believe it's pronounced, drops a very generous 250-pound super chat. Says, "I enjoyed the Indiana Jones video. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you took the time to check it out, and thank you very much for the kind words. I'm definitely glad that you enjoyed it." Will Broke Boy Lewis drops an additional very generous $5 super chat and says, "PC Gamer is a weird place. They have PC in the title, but they really do clickbait console war stuff like Tech for Gamers and Gaming Bible." Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately, Will, and I think I'm preaching to the choir here. I don't think anyone, at least I'm not going to speak for you folks. I'm going to speak for myself. I have a few sites that I trust, indubitably. Xbox Era is one of them. I know everyone there personally, so I do trust their work. VGC, I got a chance to meet Andy Robinson over in during the summer. Not very nice, very nice chap. Took the time to hang out with me and talk for a few minutes. I really like what they do over there. There are a few others, but for the most part, unfortunately, what we're starting to notice and see is that the reporting for gaming and good reporting for gaming, meaning they want to get out their thoughts and theories, is no longer what people are doing. It's simply the click, right? The click ratio. If they can get you to click and they say something egregious, they did their job, which is why I won't even retweet these moron stuff. I simply take a screen grab, so you have to go looking for it if you want to read the stupidity, but I'm not doing that. We also have here Carlos Nieves. So Carlos, welcome to the program, brother, and thank you for the very generous $10 super chat. And he says this sounds like a slower and methodical when describing the gunplay. I personally can still find enjoyment in that style, but probably not for everyone. Appreciate your honesty, Boom. Yeah, I mean, Carlos, here's the thing. I said in the video, if you're expecting Call of Duty or you're expecting something like Castle Wolfenstein, I think that's probably the best one to want, right? It's Germans, it's Nazis, it's shooting. This is not that game. This game has you solving. It's a puzzler. I solved a couple of puzzles and again, if you are into side missions, you're into exploring. You want to find the next relic that's hidden behind a stone wall. You have to go looking for that, and you can find that information by going and finding like the journals, talking to NPCs, finding pieces of scrap, finding hieroglyphics on a wall. You go and you look at it, and that's how you're going to play this game. Again, if you want run and gun, go play Black Ops 6 and Game Pass. If you want a bit of both, I think you should give it a try. It's not going to be for everyone. I think you're going to get again, thanks to what I Love Coffee said. I think it's going to be very similar in its reception to Hellblade 2. People that like that kind of game are going to freaking love it. People that are looking for a God of War hack and slash or a shooter, you're just not going to get that with this. Sith Lord drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Number 3, my boy Russell Wilson got the W again." He seems to be the answer, and I love the kid before him that we got from Chicago. This is they're short a receiver, man. They need someone on the edge. They need another receiver, and I'm hoping that they get Cup. he would be a great addition, but we'll see. But let's get back into, well, gaming, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to talk about Black Ops 6 doing big numbers. Now, so Charlie Intel's the chief. Charlie Intel put out a tweet earlier this morning, basically saying with the launch of Black Ops 6, nearly 50% of all active Xbox Series X and S players in the United States played Call of Duty last week, double the week before's numbers. And for PlayStation 5, over a third, 33% of all active U.S. PlayStation players played Call of Duty last week, up 30% week over week. Now, this is Circana and where it comes from, and just a note here, a preview note from Matt Piscatella. He says, sneak peek into next week's data. According to Circana's player engagement tracker, just shy of half of all U.S. active Xbox Series players during the week ending in October 2026 engaged with Call of Duty. This is nearly 2 times the prior week, and on PlayStation 5, slightly less than 1/3 of all active players engaged, up nearly 30%. Now, again, Korkenstein, I'm going to go right to you, because if you take this data and you take the data from Steam, for instance, and I think that's a really good metric, because Steam, you have to buy the game. And where is it ranked in Steam or on Steam? Well, it's ranked number 1. It had a 330,000 concurrent player, which is the highest since Call of Duty returned to Steam. Which they had those numbers that they broke the record in 2022. What I want to know, and I don't know if we're going to get this next week or we're going to get this next month. I'm dying to know, between Steam, between Xbox, between PlayStation, between the older consoles, because remember, it's available on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I don't know how they did it, but it's available there. I'm wondering how many millions of people were considered active users across the board. I don't know if we're going to get that, but I can tell you that there is a narrative that has been shattered, destroyed, and broken beyond repair. And that is somehow Game Pass is going to kill the industry. Game Pass is going to kill Call of Duty, and people are going to not buy the game, because a lot of people bought this game. Now, I did see someone post a stat. I cannot confirm this. It said that something to the effect that Call of Duty made $1 billion in 36 hours. Now, like I said on Monday's show, if you can find that and send it to me, I will give you credit. I could not find that particular stat. I would imagine, Korkenstein, stats like that, those detailed number, the amount of money it made for its game is going to be available potentially with something that Matt Piscatella does. Are you surprised by this success?
No, not at all. I mean, we all kind of knew this. I mean, despite, certain people doing a book tour right now, downplaying Xbox, we always knew COD was, especially after the beta, everybody knew this was a gold mine right here. This even PlayStation knew, and this is why they made such a huge deal with the FTC and all of that with the acquisition, and why they went, so I guess hard against, Microsoft buying this. This is the reason why they already knew the outcome of what this game was going to be, just in general, the series. So I'm not surprised at all. It's great. More people get to play the full game with it. Usually previous deals is, oh, you got to wait a year for this, or this is locked, behind this, or it's like Xbox is like, no, all gamers, we'll be talking about that too later on in the show, but Xbox was, all gamers get to play this at the same time, get this full experience, and it just shows that how much care has been put back into Call of Duty, especially after the rough Modern Warfare 3. I get that. If you were worried because of that game, then of course, because the whole that whole situation happened where they did like a half release or something. It was supposed to be DLC, and then now they made it Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah,
And
that was a corpo move right there for sure.
Big time. And I could get that concern. But the Game Pass, no. I mean, all it's going to do is just drive more people to the platform. More people are going to spend in that platform. It's just going to strengthen Game Pass overall with revenue. I don't see the downside.
Yeah, I don't see the downside either. I think that you're going to get people, and again, I don't pretend to have a PhD. Not going to get into anyone's psyche and pretend I understand what that's all about. But I'm just going to put myself on the stand here. Okay, I haven't played Call of Duty multiplayer in decades. Why am I so addicted to this Call of Duty? There's been many great Call of Duties before this. Well, the truth of the matter is that I always went for the single player, and I usually very rarely dabbled. But from a consumer's point of view, Korkenstein, I get it in my service, which I still can't believe is actually a thing. Like, honestly, I've said it a dozen times before, and when you say it out loud, it almost seems like it's wrong. Call of Duty Black Ops 6, the biggest game of 2024. That's a fact. It's going to be the biggest selling. It's going to be the most played. Is it going to win any awards? Probably not. Not even one of them. Maybe multiplayer game of the year if you're lucky at the Game Awards. But this is going to be the most played game. It is going to be the most purchased and sold game. Microtransactions, not that I give a flying shit because I don't get any money from it, but it's going to have the most microtransactions in the entire 2024 campaign. What is that? What am I trying to get at? What I'm trying to get at is they got me. I played the beta. I loved it. The new Omni movement has changed the entire game. It has literally changed the game. It's so fast. It's so slick. And now, because I got it in my service and I didn't spend $108, I was very inclined to drop the $30 for the Vault. And then, of course, I spent another $20. Now, the $20 I spent is because it goes to charity. That was a charity-based move. The endowment pack, which I really highly suggest people go out and support our veterans, please. It's a $20 pack, gives you a bunch of really cool things. It's $20. You spend $20 on a lunch if you live in LA right now. $20 lunch is what you're going to get. Spend the money on the veterans. They need our help. And that endowment pack is worth every penny because you are helping veterans. When Master Chief potentially drops on the 14th, which is when I think he's going to pop out there, I'm buying it. I don't care how much it is. Yeah, I'm good. So I'm more inclined to spend money because I didn't spend the $108. And I think that's what they're banking on. Jamie, let's get to you, brother. These numbers are not surprising to Korkenstein. They're not surprising to me. I don't think they're surprising to the near 800 people that are watching this live. Welcome from X or Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Thank you so much for checking out the show. Jamie, let's get your thoughts on some of the numbers, the early numbers from someone, a trusted source, if you will, in Matt Piscatella.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I've never seen this much hype for a Call of Duty game in probably years, probably since like the original Modern Warfare 2. Like, people everywhere over here, they're talking about Call of Duty nonstop. And now that I think about it, this is the first Call of Duty in years, I'd say, that there hasn't really been a big issue going into it where people are complaining about. Nobody had a problem with movement. People were happy with traditional zombies coming back. We have a proper campaign this time around. The movement to multiplayer is new and is a game changer for the multiplayer. So, like, all in all, like, it doesn't surprise me. Like, I've been posting the UK top paid games on Xbox, and even though this game launched in Game Pass Ultimate, it's still number 1 and number 2 on Xbox Live. Like, so like, I think that ends the whole, like, do people still buy games thing. Like, this is a huge deal. And last year's Call of Duty was essentially just an expansion. Hell, in the source code, it was labeled as Modern Warfare 2. So they just slapped a 3 on the end and put it in the box. But it's good to see because, like, I think, Call of Duty, it needed this like reinvigoration, right? You have the multiplayer, the omnidirectional movement. Like I'm one of the like 0.5% of people that play Call of Duty for the campaign, right? And I am bloody happy, right? A lot of people on all sides are very happy. And this game, like, it satisfies a lot of people because there's Call of Duty fans that only play Black Ops and they prefer Black Ops. And we haven't had one since the Xbox Series XS and PlayStation 5 launched. So it's been a long time coming. And I think this goes to show that, Microsoft, Activision, they've had a lot of faith in this game. I've never seen a marketing push for a Call of Duty game like this. Like last week, you played the clip of the Sky Sports clip with the replacer on.
Yeah, it's hilarious, dude.
Like that guy is all over the place, and it's
Yeah.
hilarious. And it's a good way of viral marketing the game. And I think, I think when it comes to Call of Duty, like just multiplayer alone, like this is probably going to have the biggest player base, the biggest push. We haven't had a Game Pass launch for a new Call of Duty game, and Microsoft's probably looking at all these numbers thinking, well, this game, it's selling like gangbusters. People are playing this nonstop, and obviously they're going to make billions on microtransactions like they always do. Like hell, every time I fire up Warzone Resurgence, there's like 50 Homelanders running around. So like people clearly like buying those skins in that game, and hey, it works. But like I like to say, for me, I'm not making any money off this, but I love the fact that it plays amazing. The omnidirectional movement is a game changer, and I've never seen the multiplayer fan base this excited for Call of Duty in a long time. So whereas you do have those clips online, like on Twitter, of people flying around like a chipmunk on acid, doing 360 no scopes all the time for no reason, doing slide cancellations, like the entire fan base is pretty satisfied with Call of Duty this year, which I don't think I've been able to say since maybe 2009.
Yeah,
so
I
like
agree.
so like the sales don't surprise me. In fact, I'd be shocked if like this doesn't end up being like the best-selling Call of Duty of all time, even though it launched in Game Pass, because I've never seen this much positivity, this much hype for Call of Duty ever. IGN gave the campaign alone a 9.
Shocking. Yeah.
Like I thought I woke up in an alternate universe for a moment, and turns out no. They love the multiplayer, and I think it's just the beginning. It's only been out for a few days, really. So, like, who knows what the sales are going to be like at the end of like 2025 when the next Call of Duty comes out. But no, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. I just think it's a good win. It's a good win for Game Pass as well, because it proves that your games can still sell if they're in the service. And people are posting me pictures of like the countries they live in. Like the game is number 1 on the store over there as well. So like again, I think this is going to be the best-selling Call of Duty of all time.
I think you're onto something. I really do. And again, what's going to be in that conversation, I Love Coffee, is very interesting because, again, depending on who you listen to in your podcast, between where you read on your articles, we were told numerous times by both the gaming community and the journalistic community that this game could not be successful because it's free in Xbox Game Pass, which isn't free. Now, we did have quite a few people throw a number out into the wind, right? And the number that's being thrown around is an expectancy of 3 to 4 million new subscribers. And we're not going to know that until potentially next week. Because remember when it took about a week and some change to get that information out there when Starfield broke the one-day record for most new subscribers. I think that you're going to see that number consistently increase between now and the holiday because there are going to be people, and again, I don't know this for sure, but finding Xbox again or joining Xbox Game Pass to get a game this big in their service. If Xbox is smart, and I hope that they are, they're going to have some sort of a Call of Duty box art for their consoles. Are they going to do it? I don't know. I don't know who's responsible for the marketing, but this seems to me to be a no-brainer. And like I said in earlier shows, you don't have to give the game away. You simply have to just allow for someone to play Xbox Game Pass, and they can do that by putting in a 30-day card right in there. No fuss, no muss, no coconuts. Let's get your thoughts. Are you surprised by the sales of a game that's quote unquote free in Xbox Game Pass?
As far as the game is concerned, I mean, listen, I think this is the way I look at Black Ops 6 right now, I think this is like a perfect storm. So there's a part of me that is really, really excited for the game because of the fact that it's like it seems to be like an Xbox exclusive coming out for Game Pass, and all the talk is around Xbox. So I'm getting that kind of feeling again that I used to get with like the old like Halo titles and Gears.
The 360 days.
Yeah, the 360 days. So I'm getting so like I think there's like that excitement that pushes me to be like, I really want to play this game and I really want to enjoy it because it's part of that whole zeitgeist right now. And besides the fact of it being an amazing game overall, I have some issues with the spawning in multiplayer, but other than that, I think the game, the single player is fantastic, and the multiplayer is just a blast. Also, as far as sales are concerned, so I know that UK is basically the only spot right now that has released their numbers, and I know that right now it's 10% down due to the fact of in comparison to Modern Warfare 3 with sales, due to the fact that Xbox, those sales are not being taken in physical copies are not being sold for Xbox because people that have Game Pass, Xbox, whatever the case may be.
Right.
But we have to also keep in mind that every single one of those copies that is sold, that the trajectory is still on the same point as Modern Warfare 3 from a physical sales standpoint for PlayStation. That trajectory is still the same as Modern Warfare 3. So that means that every single copy that is sold of this game on PlayStation in the UK, Xbox is making money. And they're making a very big chunk of money. So they at this point in time, it just feels good to be an Xbox fan and look at the spectrum of things with Black Ops 6 and say, wow, Xbox is winning in every single angle right now for the first time in a long time. And that's something to me that makes me feel great. Now, as far as sales are concerned, where it's going to end up, I do think that it'll probably end up being around the same numbers that Modern Warfare 3 pulled in. I think that from a subscriber count, if I had to put a number on where I think Game Pass is going to sit, I'd say to be cautious, I'd give it like maybe like a 1.5 to 2 million hike up in subscribers. I wouldn't say the 4 to 5 million mark, just because I think that's a little bit pushing it. And I think that Xbox is recently modifying their sales targets or their targets for memberships for Game Pass. I think they're going to be okay and fine with what they get out of this. They could have not gotten anybody new to Game Pass, still made money on Game Pass, and still made money on every copy of this game sold. So honestly, the argument or the whatever, I guess we can call them ponies, will bring to the table. There is really nothing that is going to be a conversational point at this moment in time where Xbox is in a losing scenario at all. And that feels great.
Yeah, it's about time. Again, this is, the one thing I will say, I have seen this. No names here, because we don't have to do that to sell the brand. You're here to talk about video games, have some pointed conversations, and have some fun during those conversations, which is what we do here at Double Barrel Gaming. One of the running narratives, gentlemen, and again, jump in if you feel that you want to add a point of contention to what I'm about to say. I keep hearing and I keep reading, well, Xbox bought Activision, so it doesn't really count. Well, my counter to that is yes, they did buy Activision for nearly $80 billion because they wanted IP to go into their streaming service, i.e. Game Pass, to get more people to subscribe. And when you have Diablos and you have Call of Duties and potentially a bunch of other games from licensing from Activision, from Blizzard, jumping into your streaming service, you're going to get more people to subscribe. That's business 101. The interesting, and here's my counter, ladies and gentlemen. Sony bought the developers of Concord. And if Concord would have hit, everyone, including the gaming media, would have been jumping on the bandwagon to say, wow, this game is absolutely amazing. It's doing things in the multiplayer genre that we haven't seen before. Gas games. This is one of the best gas games I've ever played. Good on Sony for buying them. and no consideration for quote unquote organic growth. But that didn't happen. Concord is dead. Both Sony and the original developer took a $400 million bath on that. So again, this is the media, this is the gaming public that wants to use, oh, they bought them so it doesn't count. Well, it does count. You know where it counts? In their bank accounts. And where it counts for me as a consumer is I did not have to spend $108 for the Vault Edition. I spent $30 plus my $20 a month, which I don't pay. I pay less than $10 a month, and I'm paid up until October 5th of 2027. So I'm good. But again, if you see that, yeah, please.
It's like people that say, you know, oh, well, the Buccaneers wouldn't have won the Super Bowl if it wasn't for Tom Brady. Why do you think they paid the money?
Hello.
to get Tom Brady into, to get them where they needed to be. You make wise investment choices to get you where your company, where your brand, whatever you're doing to get you where you want to be. And that's what it is. So it, like you said, it goes to their bank account. It only doesn't count to console warriors that, it's like that Charlie Day meme where, he has all the numbers and everything behind him from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And he's like, it's like, that's the only time where it doesn't count to some of these people. That's how insane they are.
Well, I mean, can I chime in here real quick?
Jump in.
I want to say, so as far as the investment, so I truly believe that Concord is actually going to end up coming back just from the post Steam updates that we're seeing occur on the back end for it. And it's going to come back as free to play because Sony has invested too much money to just let it go by the wayside. They're sitting there right now saying, hey, we have a Ferrari with no engine in it. Like, we've already invested this much. What are we doing? We're not going to just let it fall to the wayside. So they're going to take another risk, and that risk can blow up in their face again because it can go two ways. It can either be like that the people who didn't play the game the first time can say, I'm not doing this again. No way. Or it can be like, oh, it's free to play. I'll give it a shot. Either way, I know they're not going to be giving up on it. But let's look at the comparison between Xbox and PlayStation. So Xbox, you can argue the same thing about 343 Studios right now, right? Xbox has lost money with 343 Studios. With the amount of time they're sitting on IP, Halo IP, paying employees that work there, even with downsizing, you're looking at hundreds of $millions of investment into a studio. But the difference between the two things here is that where Sony is desperate, it has a disparity to bring back Concord because of that massive investment due to a company scale perspective. Because rest assured, when it comes to dollars and who's got the big bucks here, it's going to be Microsoft, not Sony. They need to do that. While Microsoft can sit there and say, hey, we've made all this investment into 343. What have we gotten out of it to this moment in time? Well, Halo Infinite's okay, but they can take that hit. And they can take that hit again and again and again because Microsoft is not a company that is solely based upon Xbox as a revenue source. It's just, I mean, they have their hands everywhere. And now with Game Pass, that's even more evident. I mean, the numbers to which Game Pass is making per month right now with the amount of subscribers, I mean, you do the math. Even if you count that $1 billion you're putting in to get these studios to bring their games to Game Pass day one or put them onto Game Pass, we're still making money hand over fist. And so like the biggest thing to remember here is that bad decisions and what those bad decisions can lead to for a company. No company likes to lose money, but then when every single video game company is making bad decisions, I guess we can all agree to that, which has been occurring as of recent, Microsoft included in that conversation. You have to start to look at the examples of which companies can risk to make these bad decisions and still be okay. And I do believe, without me being a fan of Xbox, I do believe that Microsoft is the only company, well, Nintendo can be included in that somewhat as well, is the only company that can take those kind of hits and be okay. While Sony is a company to which, if they keep taking $500 million hits and losses and keep buying studios for billions of dollars and losses, and they're not giving those third-person story-driven experiences that their fans want to see, they will inevitably crumble. Yeah. Because that's just business. That's their place in the business atmosphere at this moment in time. They are not a Microsoft. They don't make money on their TVs like they used to. They don't make money. They make money on PlayStation. That is why they are trying their hardest to find a gas game for them that's on their console, that's on their platform, that's in their ecosystem. That is why they are charging $700 for a PS5 Pro. It's not because they're scumbags. Like, let's be honest here. These are not people that are sitting in a corner of a room with huge grins on their faces saying, yeah, we want all our fans to hate us and think we're greedy. No, these are individuals who are saying, holy crap, we just got a massive loss on our end with Concord, a massive loss with Bungie. Like, we need to do something here and do it now. So let's charge for a disk drive. Like,
yeah,
you know, you have to look at it from a business perspective. You cannot. If you're going to look at it from a fan perspective, you're not going to see the writing on the wall. I love PlayStation. I think PlayStation makes fantastic titles. But I also think right now that PlayStation is scrambling big time. I think they are so under pressure to make up those investments back because they are not in a Microsoft scenario or in a Microsoft position that we're going to start to see those things occur with them where they're going to be throwing out overpriced consoles and they're going to have the pony sitting there saying, oh yeah, I got a 4070 in this console for $800. What are you, an idiot? Like, no, you don't. Like, no, you don't. Show me path tracing on your PS5 Pro. Show it to me. Let's see it, because a 4070 can do that. So that conversation will always, you know, again, it comes down to which company at the moment in time can take the hits like Rocky Balboa and keep on going.
Yeah.
And which cannot.
Yeah, that's a fantastic point. Again, the investments he's talking about, and he, you know, he called out, you know, publishers as well. You got to think about it. They spent $3.6 billion on Bungie, and that has not returned. The ROI on that is just not good. And again, let's just say for shits and giggles that Marathon is a great game, and hopefully it will be. I don't know if they're going to be able to get that out on time. Remember, that was supposed to release this year. Now they're saying next year. And yeah, there are people that have been play testing it. But with all of the craziness going on with Bungie, are you confident they're going to be able to get the game out and it actually be good? Well, we'll see. We definitely will see. Only time is going to tell. But I want to get into the last topic of the show. Before we get there, let me just catch up on Super Chats. There's been a couple of them. We have here a channel member message from Torino Johnson, who's been a channel member for 13 months. So, Torino, thank you and welcome as always. He says, boom, did you see Ian's 9 out of 10 for campaign and 8 out of 10 for multiplayer rating, causing PlayStation fanboys to turn on them? Xbox can't be stopped. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's just the way that's the nature of the beast. Even like, you know, if you say anything good, like for instance, I've been flamed for saying that I like Astrobot. I don't like it, folks. I freaking love that game. Astrobot would have been my game of the year without even thinking twice, but there are other things that have, you know, jumped in front of it. It's going to be in my top 10, and I would have platinumed it if that damn last trophy wasn't so freaking hard to get. And I really enjoyed the heck out of it. And I got flamed for that. So it's the extremists, and I don't walk lightly. Like the ground's gonna break out from under me. If I like a PlayStation game, I let everyone know I like a PlayStation game. If I love Nintendo games, that I do. I buy every one of them. I actually get two, one for me and one for Tyler, my nephew. For every sale, every first party game, I get two. But I love Xbox. That's my platform of choice. Unfortunately, Torino, that's what's going to happen. If someone were to say anything nice about, you know, what do you call it? Yeah, about a rival platform, that's what you're going to get. Will Broke Boy Lewis drops a generous $2 super chat and says, damn, Cork, I'm going to steal that Brady comparison. It's a good one.
You could have it, bro. I've stolen enough from you. You could take
or
a couple from
Will
me,
Broke Boy Lewis always getting his rug pulled out from him. Now he's going to pull the rug out from underneath you. It's fine. Look, this is I hate using the word made up topic because I write these topics and we were supposed to talk about this last week and we just didn't have enough time and we didn't have enough panel members to really sink our teeth into it. What am I talking about? Well, specifically the innovations of Xbox. Now, Snap Blast Play is a Twitter member that is super into Xbox. That's his brand of choice. And one of the things that he posted the other day is innovations for Xbox gaming and what they've been able to do over the course of the last couple of years. And the thing is this, I don't think people give Xbox enough credit for some of these innovations. Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. If it was just Sony out there, games would be $100 right now. There's no question. If it was just Nintendo out there, they would port over with little to no effort everything from the Wii and the GameCube and put it on the Switch. Yes, there'd be some new games in there, but they would port everything to make that extra money. It's because of these things, and I'm going to read the list. And again, shout out to Snap Blast Play on Twitter. Freaking guy is amazing. Puts out great posts like this all the time. If you're not subscribed, you should subscribe to him. So Corkenstein, I'm going to go to you first because, look, I don't know which are going to be your top 5. I know which top 5 for me personally, and we'll get to that on the back end. But these are just some of the innovations. And if there's something that's not listed here, by all means, please jump in and add that during your spiel. You got smart delivery. You got quick resume, which, by the way, was just taken away from PlayStation 5 users. They literally had something. It wasn't as good, but they had something similar, and they simply just said, nope, it's just too much of a resource, gone. They just took it away. No excuse, no nothing. You have Microsoft Rewards. Now, I don't know about anybody that does that. I got Metaphor for free. I've gotten tons of games for free. I've gotten controllers for free. I'm currently sitting just a pinch under back to 200,000. I had over 300,000 points, and that's simply by just playing your games, going on Bing, doing some searches. I get like 300 or 400 points per day. I don't miss it at all. I have I think I'm 123-day streak I'm on. MS Rewards is freaking amazing. You have backwards compatibility, which was announced during the Xbox One. I mean, that brought down the house then, and I still think it's so important. And I think that is one of the reasons why we haven't gotten the catalog for Activision, because they're currently working to bring those games over through backwards compatibility. But it's not just going to get that. You're going to get the auto HDR, which is a part of this list. And I think that's huge. You're going to get FPS boosts on your games. And you know what you're going to have to pay for that? Nothing. You're simply going to have the game in your collection. And if you have it on disc, put it in your console that plays discs. If you have it downloaded digitally, play it. And you will be able to get auto HDR. You'll get an FPS boost. And it's going to look like a new game. Does PlayStation do that? Yes, they do to some extent, but not with their older stuff. I'm talking about the PlayStation 4 days, and they charge you $10, and we still don't know if they're going to charge you for the PlayStation 5 Pro upgrade. We don't know that. They haven't talked about it. No one's asking. I wonder why. You also have free play weekends, which a lot of the platforms do. You got the PlayStation, you got the Xbox and PC dual entitlements, which is great. Xbox Live is an innovation in itself. Xbox achievements, in my opinion, are better than trophies. Even though I do wish that they had some, because again, that was copied. The trophies didn't come to years later on the PlayStation 3. I would like some sort of a platinum-esque. Hey, I got 1,000 out of 1,000. I think that would be cool. The adaptive controller in itself is leaps and bounds better than anyone's, and it has really changed for anyone that is a handicapped gamer, a gamer that they consider themselves, challenged by, certain things in their lives. This has changed their lives. They can play games. It's pretty amazing. Corkenstein, I want to hand it over to you, man. What for you jumps off the page for Xbox innovations? And again, this is something that they don't get credit for. Like I said, this list is probably 6 or 7 other things that they do great, including Xbox Game Pass. That's not on this list. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I'm probably going to get some virtual tomatoes here, but third party, releasing games on PlayStation. I'm not, I don't really believe in putting, do I play in the Xbox ecosystem? Yes. Is it my preferred platform of choice? Yes. But as a consumer, if I can get more games elsewhere, that's a big win for me as a consumer.
Okay.
And it's definitely pushing, I hope the industry into a new direction to where we don't have that anymore. I mean, we've already seen in like Coffee was talking about, PlayStation's hurting right now. They're looking at options, they're weighing things, seeing how they're going to recoup some of this money that, they've had some failed investments on. And even now, I mean, look at Horizon's going to Nintendo, but people don't really, third party this, and they don't make a big deal about that. But PlayStation is going to Nintendo for third party. And I think as a consumer, if you can be in an ecosystem or if you could be on a platform and spend in another ecosystem while being on that platform, then that's a big win for you as a consumer. More games is never a bad thing. And
Indeed.
I think that's where I don't think Xbox should have gotten the credit that they should have for it. Another big one for me is Play Anywhere. That's the PC Xbox entitlement.
Yeah.
A lot of games are Play Anywhere, even not in Xbox first party. I think most of the Sega games that have come out, I think, are Play Anywhere. It looks like I think Tom Warren had a tweet earlier, was it yesterday maybe, that they're updating the Xbox app UI. And he believes that might be because that they might be bringing Play Anywhere a little bit more to more games, or to help facilitate that for more games. So, I don't know. It's third party, Play Anywhere, and then honestly, I love Quick Resume. I don't like it for multiplayer games so much that need the online because it keeps kicking you.
Yes.
But as far as like just playing campaign and single player and just the technology behind it, Quick Resume. I would say those are my top three right there.
Great picks all around. Definitely great picks all around. Folks, I don't know why the footage paused like this. I'm going to switch it out in a second, but I do want to bring in Jamie Moran. Jamie, again, I'm interested to get your thoughts and your theories on the innovation that Xbox does not get credit for. They just don't. And they have made some big innovations that have moved the needle for gaming. Like I said, if you don't want an industry that only has PlayStation as your lead. If it's just them, we're paying $100 for games. If it's just Nintendo, you're getting remasters left, right, and center. I think that if you look at what Xbox has done with online, specifically with Xbox Game Pass, more specifically, something to Korkenstein's point, Play Anywhere. Like right now, you can take an Xbox game, play it on your PC, play it on your handheld, play it on your TV, play it through your console, play it on your phone. I mean, you're almost limitless to where you can play this game by using what they call cloud gaming. I like xCloud better personally, but they call it cloud gaming. What are your top picks for innovation for Xbox?
Well, I'll start off with backwards compatibility. I think that is probably one of the biggest ones because, people talk about legacy a lot and taking care of legacy and all that stuff, but Microsoft's really the only one that does that. You have backwards compatibility going back to the original Xbox, and you can pop in the discs of your original Xbox game, the Xbox 360 game, the Xbox One game, and all of them get some upgrades in some capacity. Some get auto HDR, some get 4K, some get 60 FPS, some even have 120 FPS. All have 16 times anisotropic filtering, and all of that is completely free.
Yeah.
Free. I like the fact that on an Xbox, I'm not nickel and dimed every 5 seconds for games I already own. I love that. I love the fact that the games I own actually get upgraded for free. And I don't have to have like 10 different past generation consoles hooked up. I can just have my one console hooked up, put in the disc, download the game, whatever. And the fact that I can not only play the games that I already own and love, I can rediscover tons of games I missed. I think that's one of the best things about Xbox Live at the minute is that you can go on the store and in the top paid list, there's always some Xbox 360 game in there because a good game is a good game. They don't have expiration dates, and I love that. Next up, we have, I mentioned the free upgrades. By the way, next generation games, we don't they're not labeled as remasters. They're not repackaged as remasters. We can just put in our disc. It recognizes that you have an Xbox Series X, and congratulations, you own the fancy new version. I love that. Cloud saves. It's such a unique thing that Xbox has free cloud saves, and they are the only console doing it. And nobody talks about it, right? Like the fact that you can carry forward your saves from Xbox 360 for free. You don't have to pay for Xbox Live for these saves, and you're going to be able to carry forward these saves for years to come, right? Other platforms on console charge for that stuff, which is crazy in my opinion. Quick resume is beautiful, right?
Yeah, it does. It's amazing.
I hop from game to game all the time.
I saw your video. I saw that Twitter post you did a couple of weeks ago where you were going from game to game. Pretty quick, man.
Yeah, it just takes seconds, and maybe it's call it OCD or ADHD or whatever you want, some combination of letters. But like, I do hop from game to game, and that is very good for me because I don't have loading screens. Then I play a lot of RPGs, so for me it's very useful. I love the fact that I just don't have that opening loading screen every bloody time, and it's very nice. Accessibility features and the adaptive controller. I think what Xbox has done for accessibility is tremendous. The amount of people that can play games now is more than ever due to certain disabilities or whatever. The adaptive controller really helps. The different features you have in the settings for accessibility is great.
Yes.
The Microsoft Rewards Bing integration. I got £100 off my Xbox Series X just because I saved up some points.
Wow, that's freaking great.
I've bought dozens of games. Hell, my Starfield controller was free.
Yeah.
like Microsoft Rewards is low key one of the best things. And yes, have they nerfed it over the past year and a half, especially in the UK? Like in the UK, by the way, I was getting like 1,000 points a day. And now not so much. But all in all, it's still a good service. And you can pay for your Game Pass. You can buy games, buy hardware.
Yep.
And I honestly don't know how anyone has a problem with that. Let's see. And if we're going back even further, achievements.
Yeah.
Like nobody was doing achievements before Xbox. Like literally no one. It wasn't never a system-wide feature across anything. In fact, it was such a well-regarded feature that PlayStation had to hurry out and come out with trophies, right? And they had to try and like redo the PlayStation Network. So like, that just goes to show how achievements changed everything to the point where over 15 years later, people still want Nintendo to get them. So
yeah, they'll never do it.
Oh no.
They'll never do it.
This is one. The wireless controller came as a standard for the first time on an Xbox console.
Yeah, that's true.
Like we take it for granted, but like wireless controllers used to be a gimmick. And it's hard to believe that was a gimmick. You always had to buy this like massive dongle sticking out the console, and now it's just it is what it is. Obviously, I'm going to end up with Game Pass, right? Game Pass has completely changed the game for how people access the games they play. It introduces millions of people to genres that they wouldn't have even tried because the barrier of entry is literally zero for them. And I think, if you have there's people that only played first-person shooters, and they're going to have access to Game Pass. Let's say all these new Game Pass subscribers for Call of Duty. Like they're going to see all these games that they wouldn't normally play, and they're going to be introduced to RPGs, sim races, flight sims, RTS games, because there's no worry. They don't have to buy another game, and it's going to get them into the ecosystem for other genres. And I think that's the most unique thing about Game Pass is it introduces people to games they wouldn't normally play.
You're not wrong. I mean, again, high marks for both you and Cork. We lost I Love Coffee. No, here he is. There he is. Okay, there he's back. Hey, I Love Coffee. Listen, let's get your thoughts and your theories on the innovations that Xbox has brought to gaming, because it has been a significant amount of really big and small changes across. And like I said, you really started to see this with the. Obviously, Xbox Live goes all the way back to the OG, but that to me isn't like tip of the spear. Getting backwards compatibility for free, getting upgrades on these games that are years old with HDR and FPS boosts for free. Xbox Game Pass worth its weight in gold. I'll go through my list, but what are your top picks?
So yeah, I mean, we can go through a list all day. I think if I were to kind of look at Xbox as a whole and their achievements, I think it's important to look at the new level of thinking that they're pushing across the board for the gaming atmosphere right now, and the whole environment as a whole, and how things are changing. I remember just a few years back, everybody looked at Don Maddock and said, "Get this guy off stage before we start throwing stones at him." And he was talking about DRM and all these kinds of things, but inevitably that happened anyway. Even with Sony's PlayStation commercial at sharing games,
Yeah,
just to knock a joke or whatever the case may be. It was at the same time, the industry was headed in that direction, regardless, with DRM and digital downloads and what have you. And it seems to me that as again, being one of the most successful companies on the planet Earth, maybe the business analysts and people at Microsoft know what they're doing when it comes to what's going to happen. I mean, I could just be guessing, but I mean, they seem to be calling out things that are going to be happening not within a 2 to 3 year time span, but within a 10 to 15 year time span. And I think it's important to look at that and kind of break that down. So, what ideas they have or how they're going to change the landscape of gaming. I think, like, I mean, even you could look at Xbox, and we know they're making new hardware and a new console. I think third-party titles and having that third-party support is just a key indicator to what their goal is at the end of the day, which is to bring their name everywhere. But at the same time, Microsoft, if they wanted to right now, they can easily push that narrative. All they really have to do is release a console with a Windows OS, have Steam attached to that experience, and then bam, you have PlayStation games on an Xbox. Why? Because there's no way in hell PlayStation will ever dictate what Gabe Newell does with Steam. So
yes.
So there's that. That's them putting Sony in a chokehold and saying, hey, maybe you might not want to work with us, but if we have Steam on our console and people can have that integrated little mini PC experience through our next Xbox and have Steam, have Windows, have all of that, then there really is no choice in the matter unless Sony doesn't put their games on Steam, which I don't think would be the case either, because they're looking to make money everywhere as well. So I think overall the narrative, and I think it's important to understand that Xbox, it's good to call out all these things that they do, of course, and the list goes on and on and on. But I think it's important to look at the bigger elephant in the room, and that is the change that Xbox is trying to push on the whole industry as a whole, and what they think the industry would look like from a perspective of benefiting everybody. And I can say also that narrative goes well within the walls of gaming development as a whole, because I can tell you firsthand, Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, inside gaming development, they don't argue. There's not these kind of console wars occurring or people being like, oh yeah, you're a PlayStation fanboy, I'm an Xbox. No. It's all about working together and developing together and having those shared experiences. So, and I think that's what Xbox wants at the end of the day. They want gaming as a whole to be an experience that is just across the board, able to be accessed by everybody everywhere. So you could look at things like quick resume, right? And playing an Xbox title on your Fire Stick or your proprietary technology that Xbox releases down the line, or your console or your phone. And then you have that quick resume feature to be accessed anywhere within your household, like Netflix or Prime does, when you're watching movies. These are all quality of life things that most individuals, I'm not talking about us graybeards, but most new individuals, young kids, want that experience.
Yes.
They don't want to sit there and say, I'm going to boot up a console, I'm going to wait for it to install, even though I have a disc, but I still have to install it. I got to wait for it to start. I got to wait for it to this, yada, yada, yada. No, they want to get on their phone. They want to jump into experience right away because they have no patience. There's nothing there anymore. They're used to TikTok. So you have to look at that. Like, patience is gone.
Yeah.
So with that comes change, because you can't keep having that same kind of ecosystem where things are of an old school type thing and it continually work and make you money. You need to change with the atmosphere. So I think it's important to call out how Xbox and their analysts are looking at that possible future. And I do think, to close this out, I do think that within the next 10 to 15 years, I mean, consoles are going to be irrelevant. I think that game streaming as a whole is going to be the new way to do things. Instantaneous access to any title that you have at your disposal, anywhere, on any device that you own. I think that's what the future looks like, because everything always leads to a more streamlined process when it comes to us human beings, not just video games, but other things that we do on a day-to-day basis. We want things faster. We want them to be at our disposal. We don't want to wait. We don't want, so that is all part of that whole context and that whole narrative that Xbox is trying to push. That years back, when they brought it on stage with Don Maddock, they were booed off the stage to inevitably arrive at the same point in time right now. So let's I think we should probably pump the brakes and cool off a bit on, like, they're crazy and I can't believe they're doing this and going third party, and let's let them cook a bit and let them kind of use their ability to kind of mold that gaming environment to which I think at the end everybody will benefit from.
Yeah, I mean, again, I the great points, dude. Fantastic points all around. Again, it's for me, the top innovations, backwards compatibility is tremendous. I think having the ability to play your older games, especially if you are a person that enjoys collecting them. I have a ridiculous collection. Now, a lot of the stuff is in storage, but there are games that I do have here that are backwards compatible. They're on disc. I pop it into my Series X and it plays. They don't charge me for that. That is a really big deal. Getting the auto HDR and the FPS boost on these games that are 20 plus years old, are somehow working in a console that I just bought. That is amazing. That's another incredible innovation. For me, Xbox Live, obviously online play. I'm hoping at some point that it's, again, if they ever wanted to put the boot on neck, and I don't think this would ever happen. Again, it's a wish for console gamers, because on PC you don't pay for online play, you just get it. I'd love them to remove it from Xbox, and you don't have to pay for it. That if you had Game Pass, and that's the way it is, just one tier to rule them all. You know what I'm saying? And you can have, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but of course, Xbox Live, major innovation. The adaptive controller. And shout out to Lady Foxfire, a great friend of the community, fantastic friend of both Mrs. Boom and I. And she says this, after she's been a channel member for 2 months: correction, my friend. Boom, it's disabled gamers. And apologies for that. That is correct. It is disabled gamers, aka we love accessibility settings, which, by the way, this Call of Duty has the most out of all games, and I'm so happy. And of course, she's talking about the accessibility options, and there are a boatload of them. And again, if you look back to accessibility, look no further than Playground Games and what they did with the Forza Horizon game. It's just unbelievable. So shout out to you, Lady Foxfire. Thank you for always being here, and thank you for the continued support. Dave Reezy dropped a very generous $5 super chat and says, as much as Pathetic Ponies took a dump on Halo Infinite, let's see how many will buy the Master Chief skin. That's the only way they can play Halo. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be. I would imagine, like Fortnite, it's going to be cross-pollination, meaning that if you play Call of Duty on PlayStation and the skin's available, you're going to be able to buy the Master Chief skin. If that happens on the 14th, it is going to be redonkulous. People are going to line up, so to speak, to get it. But yeah, the other two, like for me, my top 5 innovations. The fourth one would be the Play Anywhere. Not that I use it often, but it's the fact that it's available for me for free, right? I can play anywhere, and I have Xbox Game Pass, so it's a part of it. And technically, it's not free, but it's still a massive way to get your content on any device that you currently have in front of you. That is incredible. And tip of spear for me, because again, I put myself on the pedestal here, or on the stand, so to speak. I'm a retired guy that has a great pension that does have a ceiling. And Xbox Game Pass allows me to be a part of the conversation. And with the savings on Game Pass, allows me to buy both PlayStation and Nintendo games. The other platforms don't do that for you. So that's why it is a really big deal. It's the best deal in gaming. And even though you can play Call of Duty in Game Pass right now, it's still selling like crazy, which is bonkers to me. But, well, there you have it. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us here on the Xbox Factor podcast. And apologies why, and there we go, I got it going again. Thanks so much for checking it out. We had we have 904 people watching live, and that is 536 watching from X or Twitter, which is freaking amazing, and almost 400 people watching on YouTube. Now, I will ask for something. I normally don't. If you're on Twitter, if you're watching this live and you're enjoying the conversation, let's say, for instance, you enjoy the people on the panel and you want to hear them more often, please consider subscribing to Double Barrel Gaming. All you got to do is click on it, go right to YouTube, and hit the two buttons. One, the sub, and one, hit the bell icon, so you know every time I go live. But let's get to the outros, and we'll start first with Corkenstein. Brother, thank you so much for taking 90 minutes of your day to hang out with us. We're going to see you back here on Friday morning, which, again, Friday morning's episode, folks, is a big one. It is the 4th annual Mrs. Boom's birthday bash, right? Her birthday is November 1st. Anyone that's religious like me and her, well, it's All Saints Day, and she'll be celebrating her birthday. You're not going to get her age, and I will not be the one to tell you what it is. But what I will tell you is that if you show up to the chat and you're in the chat and you put the hashtag that we have secretly hidden and put away during the live stream, you have a shot of a $50 gift card to your platform of choice. And we're not just giving one gift card away, folks. We're giving $500 worth of gift cards away. That's right, 50. 50, I wish. 10 $50 gift cards. And, of course, all platforms are available. You want it for Steam? You got it. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo eShop. And if you're outside of the Americas, well, we'll send you that money via PayPal only, and you just get the cash to spend on, well, whatever you see fit. And how you do that is show up on Friday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, on the new episode of Breakfast with Boom. Again, it's just our small way of giving back to this community who has given us so much. Corkenstein, let's sell the brand, brother. Where could people check out that amazing MRE Call of Duty episode, which, of course, is his Game Pass Gumbo podcast? It's amazing. They incorporate food with games in Xbox Game Pass. It's brilliant. It's original. Sell the brand, Corkenstein. Where can people subscribe to that? And more importantly, follow you on social media.
Yeah, big thank you, Boom. Of course, to everybody here on the panel. You guys have been great. Awesome points all around. And yeah, to your community, big thanks for you guys. Always great conversations going. You're, like I say it every time, and I 100% mean it. You have one of the best communities here on YouTube when we talk about these games. And yeah, you can catch me on X or Twitter at the Corkenstein. Yeah, follow me there. I'm on Blue Sky as well as Corkenstein, and Threads as Corkenstein, so you can follow me on all 3 platforms. But yeah, Game Pass Gumbo, we did our big triumphant return with Call of Duty episode where we ate 8 MREs on air. We did have a technical difficulties at the end, unfortunately, but yeah, it was a fun episode. That MRE, yeah, it was 50-50. My stomach wasn't too happy with me about 2 or 3 hours later, but yeah, it was a great show. But yeah, you can follow me there on Game Pass Gumbo on YouTube. We'll be planning our next episode hopefully soon. I got to talk with the guys later on today. But yeah, maybe like a Dragon Age episode and figure out something.
Maybe you can do like the big turkey drumsticks.
yeah. Some dragon legs.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No, that's definitely good. Yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, please follow me there. Follow me also on Twitter or X, Blue Sky, Threads. I'm on all of them. You'll hear my very horrible opinions on third party. And yeah, it's just all around fun.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you joining us today and giving us your hot take and your opinions. We love them. And of course, we'll see you back here on Friday morning. A big a big thank you for, of course, always being here. And again, please, 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 please go support this man. Go check out that MRE episode. If you are a fan of great content, please subscribe to Korkenstein's YouTube channel. It's amazing, and he definitely needs to get more subs to that channel. And speaking of subs, we want to increase Jamie Moran subs on his podcast that he does every week called All Things Xbox, and he'll be back tonight to have that podcast with Logan Meyer, who is which of course is one half of that show, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. By all means, Jamie Moran, sell the brand of your YouTube channel, but more importantly, tell everyone where they can follow you on social media.
Yeah, Boom, thanks for having us on. It's always a pleasure talking with you guys. So, yeah, my YouTube channel is The Elusive Gamer. I'm 10 subscribers away from 5,000, which is pretty cool.
Come on, we could do that right now. People, drop the link in the chat, bro. Let 10 people. He needs 10 people. We have over 900 people watching live. Come on, folks. We could do this live. Let's do this live.
Yeah, so hoping to hit that soon. Thank you very much, Boom. But hoping to hit that soon. Yeah, so I have a podcast on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be talking about Final Fantasy, some Splinter Cell stuff, Mass Effect, the next one, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it's a pro Xbox channel where there's no grifting, no forced negativity. It's just pure Xbox news, and I like to keep it that way. And also, my Twitter is Jamie Moran UK, where it's exclusively gaming coverage and jokes.
Good stuff all around. And again, did you drop the link into the chat, kind sir?
I'm trying to.
Okay, you know what? I am going to hold on just. I think I have your. Let me see if I could find it here. You know what? Quickly DM me the link, and I'm gonna send it. I'm gonna drop it in the chat, folks. We got to get 10 people to subscribe to this channel, get 5K live on the air. And while we do that, I love coffee, brother. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, great points. People really love the way you conduct yourself in the chat. We definitely got to get you back here more often than not. I don't know if you got anything going on, but if you do, I would like you to sell that brand. Not only where, if you do have a YouTube channel, if you are thinking about starting one, let people know where to check that out. And more importantly, follow you on social media.
So yeah, you can follow me on I Love Coffee 83 on Twitter, or X, or whatever you want to call it. As far as the YouTube channel is concerned, I'm trying my best to get it up as soon as I possibly can. I do have people who already want to be on the podcast and have reached out to me in regards to that to speak, because I do want to launch it as like a podcast only type channel, like once a week or whatever, just to go over games and video games and what have you. So nothing as of yet when it comes to the channel is up, but no content as of yet until I'm able to kind of on the back end figure out some stuff. And yeah, I mean, I'm always on Twitter, lurking, seeing people's hot takes and what people are talking about. And I mean, as far as a brand is concerned, my brand is I just like to talk about video games and talk with you fine folks about it. So but if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, let me know on Twitter, hit me up on the DMs, and I'll be sure to get that channel up sooner rather than later for that very reason.
Well, we definitely appreciate it, and we definitely got to get you back here. I'll be talking to you in a DM relatively soon. Just got a few things to do on the back end over here, but I will definitely be reaching out to you by week's end. We're going to get into some specifics for sure. Okay, so a few people have subbed, and we're going to do a live refresh here, and it still says $4.99, 4.99, folks. Listen, I want to just kind of hold out for a second. Keep you here, folks. I'm gonna recopy and paste his link. And again, if you're a creator or you're not a creator, getting milestones like this are a really big deal. You know, obviously, my first subscriber is Mrs. Boom. She's always going to be number one on many levels, and being my first subscriber is definitely something that's super cool. But you know, when you get your first 100, your first 1,000, your first 5,000, it is a really, really, really big deal because, again, YouTube doesn't pay a lot, folks. It really doesn't, unless you are in the 100,000 club, and we're just not there. But that doesn't mean that we don't appreciate every little milestone that we hit. So, of course, seeing Jamie Moran, there it is. You hit 5K, brother. Let me just,
Woohoo.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
So
just say hey, thank you very much, Boom. Thanks for everyone subscribing. Now on to 10,000.
Yes, now on to 10,000. A big thank you to this amazing community. Like Horkenstein has suggested, you guys and gals are the best. Really are. You keep it so fresh and so fun. And of course, we got to thank one of the biggest, the reason why you can come to this channel and not find the a-holes that ruin gaming, that ruin social media, is because of the unbelievable work that Lethal Papa does for this chat. He obviously moderates many podcasts, specifically this one, and I actually do 5 a week. I don't know how he keeps up with it. So a big thank you to Lethal Papa, the man that carries walks silently and carries a very big band stick, keeps it really cool here for you fine folks. So again, congratulations to Jamie Moran hitting 5K. Congratulations and a big thank you to you, community, for getting him there. And of course, a big thank you to all of the super chats that continue to come in, because those do allow for Mrs. Boom and I to do the giveaways. And there's a big one happening this week. And then, of course, at the end of the month, we are giving away 15 copies of Stalker 2. And again, very similar to the Mrs. Boom's birthday bash. To win, all you gotta do is be in the chat, and then you're good. The first 8 winners there are going to be channel members. This next 7 winners will be anybody that's in the chat during that. And I'm trying to see if I can get someone from the development team or someone from PR to join us. I'm working on that literally as we speak. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm going to give it the old college effort. And again, those copies we're buying out of our own pocket. We're not getting those from the team that made the game, and Microsoft isn't giving us nothing, nor would we take it. This is us giving back to the developer by buying their game and giving it away. And it's our small way of supporting the dev, so to speak. But I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me, folks. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of the Xbox Factor Podcast.